Hello everyone and welcome to another Growing with God video. Today I'm going to be answering the question, if we are all going to heaven, what is the meaning of resurrection? So I feel that this is an important question because it is a very common Christian belief that God is going to take all the Christians up to heaven. However, there are also some, passages in the Bible that talk about God trying to make a utopic and righteous earth where certain people are supposed to live in. Like, for example, there's Revelation chapter 21, verses 1 to 5, where it talks about a righteous paradise coming down from heaven to the earth for righteous people to live in. Not physically coming down, but referring to how the earth is going to become righteous from spiritual influences. And then there's also John chapter 5, verses 28 to 29, telling us that there are going to be people resurrected to live in this world. That verse tells us, "Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming, in the which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice, and shall come forth, they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation." So now the question is, if all Christians are going to heaven, then what exactly is this future world for? That is what we're going to talk about. So clearly, if we just look at, these two things, one of these ideas has to be false. It's either the idea of resurrection is false or the idea that all Christians are going to heaven is false. And through studying the Bible, we'll be able to find which one of those are actually false. And it is the idea that all Christians are going to heaven that is indeed the wrong idea. But if I say it's the wrong idea, I also have to address the Bible verses that say that there are people going to heaven, because there are verses that say that. But these verses are addressing the apostles. For example, let's take John chapter 14, verses 1 to 3. It is discussing the positions that the apostles would have in Christ's heavenly circle. And Christ was specifically talking to this group of people in this passage. Let's quickly look at what it says there. It says, "Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. For in my Father's house are many mansions." Those are the different offices that the apostles will, be quote unquote working in. And then, "If it were not so, I would have told you, I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself." That is, Jesus Christ is going to take the apostles up to heaven, "that where I am, there ye may be also." And then there's also Luke chapter 22, verses 28 to 30, that discusses the role of these apostles as well, that they will be eating and drinking at my table in my kingdom and sitting on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And then there are also some other verses like 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 16 and 17, that may also make it seem as if God is going to take all of us up to heaven. But what I'm trying to say here is that these verses are addressing the apostles, a specific group of people who have a role up in heaven. So, with an adequate understanding of the scriptures, we will be able to find the truth in matters like these. And we'll know that the earth is for the faithful worshipers of God who don't have that special role of the apostles. This group of people were referred to as the other sheep in John chapter 10, verse 16. They will get the earth. This was the reward that was, discussed in Matthew chapter 5, verse 5, where it says, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." The meek in this verse being all of the Christians who were humbling themselves to the laws of God and would be saved. Jesus Christ was quoting Psalms chapter 37, verse 11 in this verse. And plus there are other places in the scriptures as well that, give Christians hope for a newly revamped earth, like 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 13, where it says, "Nevertheless we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness." And then, of course, there's the famous Lord's Prayer, Matthew chapter 6, verse 9 and 10, where we were, supposed to pray that the kingdom would come to this earth. Now, what is it coming to the earth for if nobody's going to be in it? So, you see the logic here. So, we should understand that the resurrection process is God resurrecting the righteous back to live on this earth. Heaven is for a different group of people. And this was the hope of all the righteous people in the past. Like Job, in Job chapter 14, verses 12 to 15, where he said, "If a man die, shall he live again?" So this was the process that he was looking forward to. And Jesus Christ, in his first advent, also showed us a tangible example where people watched him raise Lazarus back to life, which, prove to the spectators and also all Christians who read the Bible in faith that resurrection is indeed possible. We see this happening in John chapter 11. So my advice is that we as Christians should be okay with this reward and shouldn't be too greedy hoping for things that God hasn't really promised. But anyway, I think I can stop here on answering that question of if we are all going to heaven, what is the meaning of resurrection? If you have enjoyed this video, learned anything, I would greatly appreciate it if you like the video, subscribe to the Growing with God channel, and hit the notification bell so you'll know when new Growing with God videos come out. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.